Hello, welcome back to the Reading Mama. My name is Heather. Today I'm going to share with you end of the summer jam reading and reading prompts. So if you haven't seen this readathon for August, you still have time. It is only August 18th. You could read 9 books or not. But this is put on by Christy Cole, and I believe there are several other collaborators with this. And it is super easy prompts where you are just going to read the first 9 books that you read this month, and then you answer the prompts. But because I'm extra, I'm going to do it twice because I've already almost filled out the second card. So I have an audiobooks version, which I'm going to share with you today. So these are the audiobooks that I read with the prompts for End of Summer Jam, and then I will try to do another one with physical ones. So she advertised this as being a mood reading, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in the mood. I'm gonna have an iced coffee, which I love, and then share with you guys. And I will give a caveat. I am 40. I'll be 41 next month, and I did not drink coffee until last year. I just didn't do it. I didn't like the smell of it. I hated it. I don't know, something happened after that last baby, and I liked coffee now. But I'm very picky, and I only liked it with Nut Pod sweet cream creamer, and they don't sell it anywhere anymore, and so I have been struggling. I don't have to have a dairy-free creamer. I just, years of breastfeeding kids who had food allergies, did a lot of dairy-free things, and so I just found one I liked. But I can have dairy. I just haven't found one that I like. So I'm got a Dunkin' Donuts one today, but we'll see. Hopefully. So that's getting me in the mood for this end of summer reading. And like I said, these are all audiobooks that I've read this month. And then I'm going to go, I'll put the up here, and I'll put the prompts down in the description box if you want to join, or actually I'll probably just give you a link to her video, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll do something. The information will be down in the description box, okay? So these are all audiobooks. And like I said, it was just a read a book and then do the prompt, okay? So the first one that I read or listened to was Edge of Collapse by Kyla Stone. Now, you will notice that I read a lot of these books. I have almost finished the series this month, and many of them are audiobooks, and almost every book on my audiobooks is part of a series, so I will do as spoiler-free as I can. So Edge of Collapse by Kyla Stone is a end-of-the-world dystopian book. And the very first part of it, but like book 1, and then there's like a prequel. I read book 1 and then the prequel because that's how my audiobook worked. It just had the prequel tacked onto the end, and I was like pleasantly surprised. But book 1, Edge of Collapse, and we're supposed to give you a good quote from this book, several if you can, but I'm going to be honest, and audiobooks are really hard for me to do quotes with because I listen at 2 times speed, usually while doing other things like driving. So I'm not always on the lookout for a quote, but I did look up one because I share over on my Instagram. I always try to share at least one quote from the book. And so I look up audiobook ones. And one of them quotes that I really liked is, "Alone is a state of mind, nothing else. You remember that, so is fear." And this is so important because in this story, and I don't want to give anything away because this story has so many points of view, so many crazy things happen, and I want everybody to be as shocked and horrified as I was when you listen to it or read it. But in this story, we have a end of the world scenario where there's been an EMP blast, but we don't know that at the beginning, and it has taken out all electrical things, not just the electrical grid, but anything that has electricity in it. And we open with a woman who is in a dire circumstance. And so this alone is a state of mind, nothing else is important. But then you remember that, and so is fear. Fear is just a state of mind. And that is so critical to that particular character and so critical to like her storyline. Now, I will say that you follow multiple points of view in this 8-book series. And it is gripping, intense. It is not Christian. There are a few swears, very few though. And there's some there's a lot of trigger warnings. Let's just put it there, okay? Let's move on to book 2. So like I said, book 2 was the prequel. So in book 1, we follow mostly Hannah and her circumstances, which are intense. Lots of trigger warnings. Please look them up if you are somebody who is at all sensitive to any kind of thing, okay? Book 1 goes back to Liam, And we find him and what happens to him when he lands in Chicago the day that this EMP burst has. This is a novella, very short. I think it was like 2-hour audiobook. It says, what was the exact moment where you felt it really hooked you and made you want to keep reading? If you're bored with the entire book or DNF'd it, please share. I did not DNF it. I continued the whole series. What was the moment that I loved it? I think I had a pregnant woman at the beginning, and I'm a mama of 8. I love pregnant women, okay? And the author does it very well. And it also had military. I love like military and law enforcement things. I just find those incredibly interesting. And it was just so fast-paced that like you don't even have a moment to think I want to DNF it because everything is just going so fast. So book 3, I read Edge of Madness, which is technically book 2 in the series, which continues the story with some other characters during this time of that series. And the prompt says, is this book your favorite genre or something out of your comfort zone? Did it surprise you in any way? So all of those I can answer. Is it my favorite genre? I love dystopian. Love, love, love it. Survival stuff. There's like so many, like, I'm like, should I be taking notes? These are so many good survival tips. I need a reference book for these. So I love that. Is it out of my comfort zone? A little bit, because there are some really intense and insane things that I did not expect coming. And did it surprise you in any way? This particular one did, in several instances, just because I didn't see things coming. There's like, these books are very fast-paced, a lot of things going on. No one is dying. It is just nap time and nobody is happy about it. So that was book 3. Book 4 that I listened to was Edge of Darkness, which would be my 4th read, but the 3rd book in the Edge of Collapse series. And the prompt says, what is the first sentence? Did it make you want to keep reading? And does the first paragraph make you want to keep reading? I don't know what the first sentence was because I did an audiobook, but it was gripping because it continued the story of the characters that I was highly, highly invested in. And so everything, like I said, they're very fast-paced. I found that now that I'm in book 6, I'm finally able to slow down a bit, but it's very fast-paced, so kept me going. Number 5, free space. Tell us whatever you want about this book. So 5 is actually not part of the Edge of Collapse. I read Fragile Designs by Colleen Coble. I talk about that in my other video. And I really liked this particular Colleen Coble because it's a standalone. This isn't a spoiler because it happens like on the first page. She walks in and her husband's murdered, and that's how you start the story. A lot of her books start that way, unfortunately. They just like start with a murder. Let's give you the murder and then get into it. This one was interesting. It was hard to see the family relationships that were described in the book. And then there was just a lot going on, and it was very like, I don't know, the main character goes through a lot. She, like I said, her husband passes away right at the beginning, and it's mysterious. She you skip ahead in time and you go through her life, and she's dealing with the grief, but more so she's dealing with some ramifications with her family and all these other things. And then there's not old flame, but an old neighbor who pops up in her life and realizes he's misjudged her all this time. And he's a law enforcement officer and gets with it, and they get together to try to help solve a problem that she has. And along the lines, they run into like Russian mafia, and there's like kidnapping. There's just a lot of crazy things with all Colleen Coble books. And so it was a good read. It was a good quick read. I like that it was a standalone because I am a series binger. And so having a standalone is always nice to just be like, oh, that was good. The story's done. And so I really enjoyed that. All right, book 6. I read Alaska Twilight by Colleen Coble, which is another standalone. And the prompt says, what are the best things about this book? Best things I think about this book. This was not my favorite Colleen Coble, but I loved it because it was in Alaska, and I just love Alaska. I want to go there so bad. And so yes, I enjoyed that. That was the best thing about it, was that it was set in Alaska. I also like that it had disability representation in it. That was also well done. What did the author do very well? The characters, writing style, the plot, what is it that's well done? So I feel like the plot was not the best. I feel like the romance part was like just really sped up in there and kind of unnecessary to the story. Because in Alaska Twilight, you have a girl who's coming back to face some family hardships in Alaska, and she is running into like old people she used to know and dealing with a lot of family issues. It's really hard with suspense books not to give them all away. And so I feel like the characters were very interesting all on their own. I really liked like all of the characters. I feel like they're described well, they're played out well. I feel like the plot was a little like, what is going on? Like none of it made sense, even in the end to me. I mean, yes, all the ends are tied up because it's a suspense, but I feel like some of them were far-fetched, a big jump, if you know what I mean. But I'm okay with suspending reality. It's fiction. And then book 7, okay, 7 through 10, because we're going into the bonus questions, are all Terry Blackstock restoration series. Okay, I just flew through that series and I have a lot of comments on my mid-month wrap-up, so go back there. But book 7, the prompt says, how long has this book been on your TBR and how do you feel now that you've read it? It was on my TBR for a day and I read it because it was a dystopian book by a Christian suspense author that I love. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, dystopian. I love that. Terry Blackstock. I love her. And so it was available on Libby and I clicked on it. Yeah. And so I absolutely loved it and read it right away. Book 2 in that series is Nightlight. Now, in this one, this was very much like The Edge of Collapse, except that we're in the South, not the North, because Edge of Collapse is in Michigan mostly. And the Restorations is in the South. Where are they at? Alabama? I want to say they're in Alabama. And it's not an EMP burst, but a natural phenomenon. There are solar pulses coming from the sun that has taken out electricity across the world. And people are dealing with the ramifications. You have a lot of crossover because that's just what's going to happen when the electricity grid goes out. It's just, you're going to have planes crashing and cars running into people and no water and no, all kinds of things. And so book 7, like I said, was Last Light, and that's the first one, and you're all following a family in different aspects. And so book 7, it was only on there for a day. Book 8, it says, did the description live up to what was inside this book? Did it give away too much? You don't have to read the description until after if you don't want to. And did the cover. So the cover is like, I'll have a picture up here. I can't even tell what it is. I honestly, these are the worst covers in my opinion. Just terrible covers. Something with fire. I don't know. No, I don't feel like the cover gives it away. I didn't read a description and I won't. I did read the description on Libby, and it said something about like the family taking in 4 kids who were living alone during this catastrophe. And did it live up to that? Yeah, yes, but not in any way that I thought it would. Very Terry Blackstock, just when you think she's in a zig, she zags. It's crazy. And then book 9 was book 3 of the Restoration series, True Light. And it says, what is the main character's talent, gift, or superpower in this book? How did you think it would hold up in the Miss America pageant? I don't know what they do in the Miss America pageant, so. And this has multiple points of view, and I'm trying to think, in this one, main character. I'm going to say that the main character in this is the one main character who is not part of the Brannigan family that we're following through the 4 books. And his talent is that he's an all-around good guy who has a tragic backstory, who does what's right even when it's going to cost him. And in this particular book, he learns about forgiveness. So he's pretty dreamy in that regards. And then just like, you feel good about him. So how would he hold up in a Miss America pageant? Probably pretty good because he'd give all the right answers. So, and then because I'm going to go in those bonus questions, but 10 was the last in the Restoration series. Would you recommend this book to? Who would you recommend this to, even if you didn't love it? I would recommend it to everyone and no one at the same time because you have to read the whole series. First of all, not everybody is a series person. And the last book is devastating. I would not give it to anyone who has gone through anything tragic like I did because I was dealing with some issues, which I talk about in my previous video. And that's when I listened to this and it was heartbreaking and horrifying. And as a parent, if you can't handle children tragedies, it's not for you. Okay. So there's a lot of caveats in who I would recommend it to. if you love dystopian, if you really want to finish the series, if you love suspense and clean Christian romance and suspense, then it's the book for you. If you cannot handle child endangerment and child tragedies, it is not the book for you. If you cannot handle grief and loss, it is not the book for you. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then let's just swing to a whole different realm into sweet rom-com, because my next audiobook was But He's My Grumpy Neighbor by Anna Conwell. And these are sweet, cute rom-coms. And how did this book make you feel? It made me feel giggly and cute and happy and all those things. It has a little bit, I'm going to caveat that Anna is closed door romance, sweet, cute rom-com. It's a little bit more kissing than I really think people should be doing before they get married. But that's me. That's me. Do I still, as a married woman, enjoy reading these? Yes, I do. They're giggly, they're cute banter, they're so much fun. I love the Carter boys in this series because we're following the 4 brothers. This is book 2, but he's my, no, this is book 1. Is it 1? I don't know. I don't know if it's 1 or 2. I can't even remember now. I think it might be 1. I might be missing book 2. I might have more audiobooks I finished. But you have they move next door to each other and they fall in love. So, you know, but he's grumpy, she's sunshine, but she has a tragic backstory, and it's just all the rom-com things you want for neighbors who fall in love. Very cute, sweet, love it. Bonus question 3 is going to be the next Edge of Collapse book. And I don't remember what this one was called. It's book 5. And I don't have it. It's too tiny a print to see. And it says, what does it say to do? Describe the setting of this book. Do you like it? And would you want to go there? Well, as long as it wasn't in the world, I'd like to go there. It's set in southern Michigan, which is like 3 hours north of here. And they often reference St. Joe, which my family has visited on vacation multiple times. So I'm like, oh, I know where that is. And so, yeah, it's a beautiful, lovely little farm community. I would love to visit. I would even live in southern Michigan. Maybe. I don't know. I really like Indiana. I never thought I'd say that, but I do. And so, yeah, I've been to that area, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful. Would I want to go there in the book with all the world collapsing and like gangs and crazy militia and people being insane? I'm just going to stay here, right, in my bubble. But in real life, yeah, it's a lovely place. Well, bonus question number 4, I listened to, but he's my fake fiance, but I do think that there was another Carter Brothers book I listened to before that, but I can't remember because my fake fiance is book 3. And this follows the like enigmatic, outgoing, crazy, fun-loving brother. And you have the fake fiance trope. I mean, it's right there in the title. So book 4, or question 4 says, talk about the main character of this book. Did you relate to him or her? Why or why not? So you have 2 points of view in Anna's rom-coms. You have the male and the female. And the female I relate to a lot. She's an author. I'm a wannabe author. Maybe someday I will get there. But she's an author. She's an introvert. She likes being inside in her happy, cozy place. Totally relate to that. The man has super extrovert, very flirty, all these things. I do not relate to that. He has a great family. I have a great family. She has a horrible family. I don't think my family's horrible. So, you know, relate, yes and no. And then the last audiobook that I have finished so far this month, and like I said, I think I'm forgetting one, is He's My Roommate. So it's the last of the Carter Brothers books. And for this, it says, pick whatever previous question you want to answer about this book. Let me just tell you about it. Let me tell you about the man and the female. So you have Maverick and Evie, and they were friends all their lives. And Evie goes away, and she gets mixed up in some not some great things. And she gets divorced, has a newborn, and her brother and her brother's best friend Maverick come to just try to get her to come home so that she's not all by herself. And she ends up coming home. They fall in love. They realize, oh, we've always kind of loved each other, and it wasn't necessarily brother and sister love. We really had feelings for each other, just didn't know, and this is the right time. And so it's very sweet, cute, protective, man, you know, all those things. So it was a fun read. So those are all my audiobooks. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the computer trying to make sure I get them. And like I said, I think I forgot one. But those are my End of Summer Jam audiobooks. So let me know what audiobook you have listened to this summer, this month. I don't know. Maybe you're not as crazy as me and have read, what is that? Oh my goodness, it's a disturbing amount. 6, 10, 14, 15 audiobooks already this month. It's a little psycho, I understand. But if you stuck around for this whole video, thank you so much. And like I said, I will put all the prompts and things down there. It's not too late to join in. It's like I said, you're just reading the books and then answer the questions. Super easy, super fun. And I'll be back in the near future with physical books because I am done with 7 physical books so far this month. Thanks so much for watching and have a blessed day.